Happy Vlogmas, everyone! Welcome to my personal jet lag hell. Okay, it is 5:45. I've been up for several hours and could not get back to sleep. Okay, but good news. There is good news, okay? I've been working through my Advent calendar books. I was so behind. I was nearly 2 whole books behind. But I've caught up, okay? I've been awake, I've been doing God's work, and now I'm going to tell you what's happened, okay? Wrong time, wrong place. Simon Kernick. Fuck this book, right? 2 stars, mainly just for the ending, and I'm going to tell you what it is because I feel like we shouldn't read it. Okay, so this guy is about these like Albanian like sex trafficked women. They're locked in this like rich white man's house. He's like a banker. He's from London, but he lives in Scotland in the woods. And he's like got all these sex slaves like locked in the basement. One of them escapes, okay, and she's running through the woods. She runs into these tourists. And now this guy who's like in charge of the security and the slaves and stuff for the house, he has to kill not only the escaped slave but now the tourist so that no one knows what's going on. So he kills 3 of them, and then one of them, she's spunky. She's like the last girl, okay? She's gonna live. She's gonna make it to the police. She's gonna tell them what's happened. It's gonna be the end of it. But no, she doesn't make it. She runs down the hill, escapes a bit, gets into this old lady's house. Turns out the old lady's the mother of the guards who have been like chasing her and killing her, or her friends or whatever. And they set her up as the murderer of all of her friends and also the sex slave woman. It turns out one of the guards for the house is a police officer, and the police officers are like looking at this and they're like, oh, these English people coming up here to Scotland, like just being crazy and like drinking too much and killing each other, like what are they for? And then that's the end. That was literally the end. Like read a fucking like Room, bro. That's not where we are in 2024, where like the rich white man with the sex slaves like wins the day. No, that's put me like wow in a bad mood. So I did give it 2 stars. Like I don't know why. Like it wasn't even good writing. The writing wasn't even good. Like I think I've given it 2 stars because it was a good way to waste an hour. Do you know what I mean? Like it was like snappy. I was like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? That's the only reason I'm giving it any stars at all. I'm fuming. Okay. But good news. This one, Cedrith and a Llyfrgell. So this one is Magic in the Library. It's like I think it's YA actually, even though I don't know if it's YA or not. Maybe it's like middle grade. Anyway. Okay, sorry, I've switched locations. Maisie got up and came downstairs. So I thought I'd come up, be with Maisie and have a bit of coffee. Okay, but anyway, so Cedrith and a Llyfrgell. I feel like a lot of people that are watching this don't speak Welsh, so you maybe won't read this. If you do speak Welsh and you want to read this, just like fast forward a bit because I'm going to do spoilers. I'm going to assume most people aren't going to read this, so I'm just going to tell you what it's about because it really cheered me up. It was like a good like anecdote to this poison. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so this one is about magic librarian. So it's in this town, right? It's like magic town in Wales, but everyone is given a magical power when they're like 16, when they become adults, you know. There's like loads of shows and stuff I've been watching recently that follow this same line, like Extraordinary. Do you know that show? Where like everyone's given a power when they get older, but this one person, the main character, she hasn't been given a power yet. Anyway, it's the same with this girl. Her whole town, everyone in her town that's an adult has a power except for her. She's a librarian. She doesn't have a power. She like speed reads everything. Like she reads so fast because she loves to read. She reads all the time, and people are like, oh, maybe that's your power, like you speed read or whatever. And she's like, it's not my power, I just read fast, like calm down. But she's so shy, she never reads aloud. She only ever reads like silently to herself in a corner. Do you know what I mean? So she is a librarian of like the town library, and she has a library inspection coming, and this like surly old woman, like this like grumpy old lady, comes to like do the inspection of the library, and everything's going wrong. Like the children are being wild and they're running around and like everything's going bad in the library. and she's about to recommend that it be closed down, and the librarian is like, oh my god, that's my worst fear. So she's like, okay, I need to corral the kids and make them do something so it's not like loads of shit going on. She grabs all the kids, she pulls them together, she's like, okay, we're gonna read a story. But she's never read aloud to anyone before, and she's really like shy and like anxious, and she's like, she can't get it out. Like there's a kid there, and you know, they like sit next to her, and they like help her through it, they like give her confidence, whatever. So she like squeaks it out, she starts reading aloud. She's reading about this story in the jungle. It's like a jungle explorer with all these animals and stuff, and all of a sudden all of the like jungle and the explorer and everything like are in the room with them, like they come alive, and like some of the children start turning into animals and stuff like that. So anyway, that's her power. That's her power in the end, like that she reads, and everything she reads aloud like becomes up around them or whatever. And she was like, actually, to be fair, I already knew this, because when I read silently to myself, that happens in my own head. It's just like what's happening in my head is now happening around us when I speak it aloud. Like that's my power. Anyway, I really loved that. It was really cute, really short, really lovely. So cute. So now I'm just gonna cheat and open my next one. Like I'm not cheating. It's today. I just usually do the advent calendars with Emlyn, but I need another one now. I still got time. I'm gonna dip into the next one. Hold on. Okay, no, I can't do it to her. Like I'm not gonna open them now. She'd be so sad. She'd be like, but we normally do them together. So I'm gonna wait till she gets up to do the next book. Okay, which is fine. But I've been thinking about loads of stuff, okay? Like my brain is confused. It thinks it's my prime energy time. Like it's 10 p.m., not like 7 a.m. when I should be like a zombie and dead. So I've been thinking about loads of stuff. Loads of things I'm like thinking about related to this piece of shit book. And now I feel like we should have Storytime theater. I gotta tell you a story, okay? Last summer, right, I went to this wedding at this wedding venue just sort of down the road from us. I can't remember the name of it, but it's something to do with like a tree, I think, like the Tree Hotel or something. Anyway, I'm just gonna call it that because I can't remember what this place is called. And we were going there for my friend's wedding, and I went there with another friend. Okay, like we drove there together, or she drove and I like came with her. So when you get there, is it gorgeous, this like little estate with like this land or whatever, but it's so confusing. Like my god, invest in a sign that's worth a shit, my dudes. Okay, like there's some signs but they don't make any sense, and like we were confused and we didn't know which parking lot we needed to go to because we were also staying there the night. So we end up sort of driving up this way, and we're like, oh, we think it's sort of here. Is that the office? And we're going up. And it turns out you're not supposed to go up that way. 100% that's not the way. And this guy, this like caretaker guy, like I'm going to call him Frankie. That's not his name. Okay. But, you know, just for the booktube purposes. Okay. His name's Frankie. Frankie was there. He was the first person we met in the whole of this estate. The first face that we encounter at this like gorgeous wedding venue, and he's throwing his arms up and he's like shouting at us, obviously because we've gone the wrong way, but whose fault is that, bro? Get a sign. So he said, he's like shouting at us, he's like, we like roll our window down, we're like, sorry, excuse me, we're looking for the blah blah. He's like, you just ran over a pot. We didn't run over a pot. I think we may have lightly tapped the pot with our car, but the car was fine and the pot was fine, so I don't know what his like problem was, but he was going mental. He was like his finger, it's like finger in my friend's face like this, like it was disgusting. And like in the end she was like getting frustrated and she was like, excuse me, you're not very nice, blah blah. And I was like, I like stepped in, I was like, please don't speak to us like that, it's really rude, like can you just please direct us to whatever. Anyway, so we finally get to where we're going, and we're like, decide we're not going to talk about it anymore because we don't want to ruin, okay, the wedding. We don't want to have like a negative time, but we're definitely going to complain about that guy. I mean, like, as we like get drunker and drunker, we're like, yeah, we're gonna email him, we're gonna email about that guy, he's disgusting, blah blah. So the next day or whatever, I completely forgot about it because I was drunk. Like that's how my anger works, like it skyrockets all of a sudden, then it completely fizzles, like there's nothing left of it. But my friend, she's not like that. You know, she holds on and she remembered and she like wrote that email and she sent it, and she was fuming when she wrote it, and you could tell in the email it was like rage email. So I was like, and she mentioned me in it and like copied me in, and I was like, oh shit. Like I completely forgot about this and probably wasn't going to email, but now I definitely need to because I got to back up my friend. And also she sounds absolutely enraged in this email. I feel like I need to like, you know, back her up in like a less enraged fashion, you know, like a more like steady, these are the facts sort of fashion, you know, to sort of back her up. So I wrote my email and I was like, oh, please, I'm so sorry to like mention this. This is a delightful venue. I'm actually coming back for another friend's wedding later on in the autumn, and I'm really looking forward to it because it's so gorgeous. I just thought I'd mention one thing related to the email I received from my friend that I was coming to. I just wanted to say, to sort of verify, you know, confirm these, you know, reiterate this situation, these facts about Frankie and his disgusting behavior. And I just wanted to say he was the first person that we met in the whole of your venue, and we'd come for a lovely day, and it really just, it could have spoiled the whole day, you know, it didn't. But I just want you to know that as your point man, Frankie's not the best. And also, please, could you speak to him about the finger thing, because don't put your finger in my face, piece of shit. Okay. Maisie's interrupting because she wants cookies, but I don't want to go down there on the floor, and she doesn't want to come up on the sofa, so we're at an impasse. She's just gonna go for the next 20 minutes in the background as a noise effect for the story time. Anyway, so we both get emails back from the venue. She gets one back that's super shitty, like, oh my god, so shitty. They were like, well, just to let you know that you did hit that pot. You know, it didn't hurt it, but, you know, just to let you know you did hit that pot, which was just petty and stupid. And the one that I got back was just delightful. It was like, thank you so much for saying how much you loved our venue. I'm so sorry about Frankie. We'll have a chat to him, and when you do come for that wedding in the autumn, please make yourself known to us, and we'll get you a free bottle of fizz or bubbly or whatever. And I was like, that's delightful. So we sent each other our emails. She sent me hers, I sent her mine. She's fucking fuming again. She's like, why is it that your email's so much better? And I was like, I don't know, like the email that you got was gross and I hated it for you. So anyway, it comes to the next wedding, the wedding that was in October, and I went with different friends. I went with my husband and a different friend, and we took a cab there, and I wasn't gonna cash in this free fizz. Like, I feel like in general I'm not really like the Karen-y type. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't really complain to someone's boss. That's not something I would do. Like, I would probably like chat them about it face to face and like have beef with them directly, but I would never really have beef with someone's boss. I feel like just in this particular situation, like how it worked out, I ended up sort of doing that. But I felt bad about it, and I wasn't gonna cash in on this like fizz thing. But then, so we're in the cab and we're going down to this like tree hotel or whatever, and the cab driver has no idea what he's doing. He's like turns into the driveway and he's like, am I supposed to stop here? And we're like, dunno. And he's like, I'll go a bit further. And he keeps going. And he's like, am I supposed to drop you here? And we're like, dunno. We could do with a sign in it. It's almost like they need a sign here for what to do if you're being dropped off by a cab driver. So he goes a bit further, and he's like, here? And we're like, I don't know. And then, lo and behold, here comes Frankie waddling over, like all angry, like, you know, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Where are you going? And the cab driver, he's like, I think quite young, and he sort of like, you know, does his thing down. He's like, I mean to drop these people off here. And he's like, well, you've gone too far. For cab drivers, they need to stop up the road. We're like, holy shit. Like, and he sort of is just going and going and going. And he's like, you need to back up here. So the cab driver's like, oh, and he's like, backs up. Then he gets a bit stuck and wedged in behind this tree, you know, and we just sort of like bail. Like, that's all going on, you know. He's like, Frankie's like still shouting at him. The cab driver doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know where to go. He's wedged. Like, we just bail out. Like, while it's still moving, we just open the doors and like run out and like flee into the woods, like, goodbye. And like we can hear like still in the background the dulcet tones of like Frankie screaming at this cab driver. So we get into the thing and I'm like, fine, fuck it, I'm having this bubbly. Okay, that dude didn't learn any fucking lessons at all about his behavior. Okay, I'm having that free champagne or whatever. So I go up to the thing and I show him the email that says that I can have like free bubbly or whatever, and he's like, oh, thank you. Oh, yes, very okay, please sit down and we'll have it delivered to you. So it goes away for a bit and he comes back like overly intensely apologetic and ridiculous. He's like, we are so sorry that this has happened to you. We're so sorry. We just want you to know that that's not our general standard, and that if you personally, you ma'am, if you need anything at all, please come to me. Please come to me directly, please. Like, I'm thinking, okay, that's a bit intense. Like, this kid who works there. It looks like he's about 14, and he's talking to me like I'm a bomb. I'm about to go off. But like, I don't know, maybe this is the way wedding venues work. Maybe they're like worried that people are gonna put like reviews online that are just gonna tank their whole thing. So I was like, okay, oh, thank you, blah. So we're having our drink and it's lovely, and we get to the bottom of it and we're like, should we have another one? So we have a whole nother bottle, and like by that point my husband's like given up on that. He started to go on beers, and it's just me and my friend, and we're taking like these bottles of Prosecco like they ain't shit, okay? And we're like getting in the cups. And we're standing over in an area that needs to be taken down so that other stuff can go up, and the same 14-year-old kid, he comes over to me and he's like, please don't take this the wrong way. I don't mean to be a pain, but can we please ask you to move away from here so that we can put in some other stuff? I'm so sorry, just, please, I'm so sorry. And I was like, fine, yeah, you need to like, move in here, that's fine. And like, I'm looking around and I've got like a graveyard of our dead like Prosecco like things. I'm like, look like an alcoholic. Like, let me just grab my like 3 empty bottles of Prosecco and like move them over here out of the way. But there was nowhere to stand, so we had to go all the way outside. And then he comes and he finds us outside in a minute, and he's like, I just wanted to apologize again. I didn't mean. Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? I was like, I'm fine. Calm down. Like, I just had to move from one place to another place. Like, this is not the worst thing that's ever happened. Like, calm down. So night goes on, and he keeps doing it. Keeps running into me and asking me if I'm okay. Like, really close. Like, are you okay? I'm like, talking to like my husband and like my friends and stuff. We met up with other friends, and they were like, oh, he just wants to, like, you've shown yourself to be a person who complains, so now they're worried you're going to complain. But I don't think that was it. I think they wanted me to feel stupid about my complaint. Like, I don't know, like, you've heard the story now. How do you feel? Like, what do you think was the reasoning behind this? Do you think it was like an innocent, like, overreaction to my complaint? I don't know. Or was it even an overreaction? Was that the needed reaction? But I feel like it was like a condescension. He was like, oh, you're hurt, are you? Oh, you needed to complain. Are you okay now? Like that. Like, he wanted me to feel like I was being treated like I was a bomb because I was unreasonable and unrational and might explode again at any moment. Like, they asked me. So they were horrible to my friend in her email, but they were really nice to me. And I feel like, why would it be like that? Like, the tone of mine was like more polite, okay. But still, it talked about the same incidents. It talked about the same guy, threw the same guy under the bus. Do you know what I mean? I think that they were horrible to her directly because she wasn't coming back for a wedding. That was the only way that they could get back at her. But knew that I was coming back and thought they could get back at me while I was there. They could like con me into bringing myself forward and showing my face and identifying myself. And then they could treat me like shit for the rest of the night. Like, I don't know how you feel. Like, that's how I sort of took it. And now, like, this stupid fucking book, like, thinking about this, like, all of the wrong people winning. Do you know what I mean? That's the wrong ending, bro. And I just, like, think about it every once in a while, randomly, like, in the middle of the night, being like, how horrible are these people? Or are they horrible? I don't even know. Anyway, that's the story. That's the story time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Applause. I'm gonna get more coffee. Man, my jet lag high is fading. Oh, I'm flagging y'all. I need a nap. Okay, today's book is 5 Nights Out by Hugh Warwick. I think this one is about a guy who looks for creatures in his backyard, like hedgehogs and bats and owls and stuff. I'm for it. I'm excited. But I spent more time on Storytime Theatre than I meant to. Turns out I have a lot of things to say, so I don't really have time to chat about it today, but I will read it today and chat to you about it tomorrow. Okay, if you have any comments, thoughts, anything, please let me know down the bottom. I will see you tomorrow. Okay.